Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on the Literacy Volunteers of Harrison County YouTube channel. We're a nonprofit United Way agency. We would love for you to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the subscribe below. Today we're going to look at clouds and the different types of clouds, and then after the video stay tuned and we'll look at some pictures and maybe a little quiz that we can participate in. This is a picture of the water cycle. And you might have seen this in school, or if you haven't, you will sometime. This is how water moves through our ecosystem, any ecosystem. Here's a tree, there's its roots, right? A tree transpires. That's sort of how it breathes, how it respirates, right? So it puts that oxygen out into, that carbon dioxide, oxygen out into the air. There's the sun on the tree. This is photosynthesis. And then over here is kind of like water, a lake, or some kind of body of water. And as the sun shines down on it, we have evaporation. The water goes up as water vapor into the atmosphere where it condenses. And the part condensation is how we get the clouds. And then once the clouds get so full of condensation, then we have precipitation, right? Sleet, snow, rain, hail, things like that. We can also get this from snow melt. This kind of represents an iceberg, and the snow is melting off of it. And then this is called surface runoff. That water seeps into the ground and leads back into the water system. So it's just a big circle. But what we want to concentrate today on are the clouds. And how do clouds form? Well, we have that invisible water vapor in the air. We see this evaporation process, and it goes up into the air, right? And then it condenses, that's our condensation, into visible water droplets or ice crystals, depending on how far up into the atmosphere it is. The air is cooled to what it's called as its dew point. You may see that on TV. The meteorologist gets on and says, today's dew point is 65 degrees. That means that's the point where condensation occurs. So the warmer it is, the more moisture the atmosphere holds, right? So our dew point's going to be high if it's humid, right? And then the air is unable to hold any more of that water. So something has to happen to it. The warmer the air is, the more water vapor it holds. And then we're going to look at the different types of clouds that are holding that water vapor within the atmosphere. All right. There are 10 basic types of clouds. There are hundreds of different clouds, but they all fit into 10 basic categories. So we're looking at the levels from the ground in the atmosphere where they are first. The lowest level are the clouds that we would see below 6,500 feet, right? Those are cumulus, stratus, and stratocumulus clouds. Then we go up a little bit more and we see the middle level, right? That's after 6,500 and before 20,000. So those are the next level clouds: altocumulus, nimbostratus, and altostratus. Alto means middle. If you sing, you hear people that sing in alto, that's the middle range. Alto means middle. And then the high level clouds, anything above 20,000 feet. If you've ever been in a plane, you're up 30,000 feet, you're up where these clouds are: the cirrus clouds, the cirrocumulus clouds, and the cirrostratus clouds. So let's look at each of the basic 10 types individually. The first one we're going to look, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the cumulonimbus clouds. Those are the ones that tower across all three of those parts of the atmosphere: the lower, the middle, and the high. So those are the only cloud type that covers all three of these combined. The first type are the cumulus clouds, and the tops of those clouds are rounded and kind of puffy. They look to me like cotton balls, right? And they're brilliant white when the sun shines on them. They're very white, and the bottoms are flat and dark. So sort of yesterday when I was driving home, that's sort of what they look like. On the bottom it was kind of dark, and then the top were those big fluffy clouds. The second type of clouds are stratus clouds, and this is just a tree, and this represents sort of like a dark, foggy kind of a cloud. They hang low in the sky. They're flat and featureless, meaning we can't really see anything about them. They're uniform, how this is all one layer of a grayish cloud, and they kind of resemble fog. Stratocumulus clouds are low, and they're puffy, gray or white. So I sort of drew some here. And they're patchy within the sky, right? We can see light come in between. I drew this cacti here. And then altocumulus, those are the most common clouds we see in the middle atmosphere. Remember I told you alto means middle. So they're white or gray patches that dot the sky in large round masses or parallel bands. See how these are running in parallel, side by side, parallel bands. Nimbostratus cover the sky in a dark gray layer. Sometimes you walk outside and that's just like it's overcast and everything seems gray. They're thick enough to blot out the sun. So we may not be able to see the sun shining through this type of cloud. Essentially, we call those rain clouds. So when you walk outside and you say, it looks like it's going to rain, those would be the type of clouds that you would see out in the sky, rain clouds. High up we have the altostratus. This is the sun, and these kind of block out the sun. They're bluish or grayish sheets of clouds, and they can either partially block out the sun or totally cover the sky at those mid-levels. In the middle of the, represents the ground, right? We have cirrus, and cirrus is Latin for curl of hair. Those look like little wispy curls, like a truss of hair. They're very thin and they're white and wispy, and they streak across the sky. We see those when the weather's nice, during fair weather, right? It'll be sunny outside and the temperature's nice, we would see that type of cloud. Cirrocumulus clouds are small white patches of clouds, and these are arranged in rows at a high altitude, and usually they're made of ice crystals. We'll see those in the winter. The ice crystals are usually a little bit colder. The higher we go in the atmosphere, the colder it is. So instead of water droplets, there would be ice. These would be made of ice crystals. The cirrostratus clouds are transparent whitish clouds that will veil and cover nearly the entire sky, like a veil on a bride, right? It covers her face. So they would veil that. We could look for what's called a halo, and I kind of drew a halo here. Here's the sun and some bushes, and there's the sky, and that's a halo, like an angel wears a halo, right? And that's a ring or circle of light. And it's either around the sun or the moon. In this case, it's around the sun. A halo is formed by the refraction of the light on the ice crystals in the clouds. Refraction is when we see light hit something and bounce back off. It refracts, right? So essentially, we have these ice crystals that are in these clouds, and that sun is coming up, and then that's refracting that light back. These are seen when there's a large amount of moisture is present in the air, usually when we have a warm front that's approaching. Right? I told you warm air, a lot of moisture. The warmer it is, the more moisture that it holds. The warmer that the air is. The colder it is, the less moisture it holds. And the last one of those cumulonimbus clouds. They resemble cumulus clouds because they form from those, except what they do is they rise way up. So those cumulus clouds we saw at a low below 6,500 feet. Well, these would span the entire way up to 20,000 feet, right? They're like kind of like towers, and it says they look like cauliflower, if you know what cauliflower is. And typically we would see these, see how it's dark here over the mountains? Those are thunderstorm clouds, so that you would know, you can see them off in a distance. Sometimes you can even see rain coming out of them, because what happens is when so much of that condenses, it becomes super saturated. Like if you put a cotton ball down into the water and you lift it up, it can't hold any more water, so it comes out. So that's when the thunderstorm would occur. There isn't any more moisture that these clouds can hold, so it has to release it somewhere. It'll release it back down into the atmosphere and fall down to earth as precipitation. So stay tuned after this video and look at some of the pictures of the different clouds. And if you have any that you would like to submit, send them and put them on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.